Every minute, an entire truckload of plastic enters the ocean.
A lot of beach bodies out there. I mean, people are swimming in the ocean. They are eating, consuming everything coming out of the ocean.
Plastic polluting our oceans, harming marine life, and washing up in remote corners of the world. And today, 60 years of monitoring could unlock decades of data for scientists.
But where does it all go?
The biggest concern is seafood. Freshwater fish, funnily enough, absorb water through their skin. But marine fish, the kind we eat in supermarkets, drink this water. It is impossible to keep this out of the food chain.
People assume plastic is just floating garbage. But here's the truth, it's infiltrating the food chain. Fish don't see plastic the way we do. To them, it smells like food. Scientists discovered that plastic in the ocean gets covered with algae, releasing the same chemical signals that fish associate with their natural prey. Therefore, they eat it. Not by accident, but because their instincts tell them to. Let's start with a number, 11 million metric tons. That's how much plastic enters the ocean every year, equivalent to dumping a garbage truck into the sea every minute. But here's the twist, less than 1% of it floats. The rest sinks, fractures, and becomes invisible. Microplastics, particles smaller than a grain of rice, now outnumber stars in the Milky Way. They're in every ocean layer, from surface to seafloor, and they're not passive. Take lanternfish, for example. You've likely never seen one. They're small, glowing creatures that hide in the deep ocean during the day, but they're the most abundant vertebrates on Earth, making up 65% of all deep-sea fish biomass. They're also the backbone of the marine food chain. Tuna, sharks, and even whales rely on them, but lanternfish are swallowing microplastics at alarming rates, mistaking them for plankton. A 2022 study found 1 in 3 lanternfish sampled in the Pacific had plastic in their guts. When predators eat them, they're not just consuming calories, they're consuming a cocktail of petrochemicals. But it gets darker. Plastic isn't just physical trash. It's a chemical sponge. In the ocean, it absorbs pollutants like PCBs and pesticides, toxins that are 10,000 times more concentrated on plastic than in seawater. When fish ingest these particles, the toxins leach into their tissues. By the time it reaches your sushi plate, that tuna could carry a toxic legacy from decades of plastic pollution. Here's what's misunderstood. Plastic doesn't just kill by choking, it starves. Fish larvae exposed to microplastics eat less, grow slower, and die younger. A 2023 study showed anchovies, critical for marine ecosystems and commercial fisheries, are 40% less likely to survive to adulthood when exposed to plastic-infused waters. But anchovies aren't just fish. They're the gasoline of the ocean economy. Seabirds, dolphins, and even your farmed salmon depend on them. Meanwhile, coral reefs, nurseries for 25% of all marine life, are under siege. Plastic debris smothers coral, blocking sunlight and inviting disease. A single plastic bag on a reef can kill an entire colony in weeks. But corals aren't just dying, they're being replaced. Scientists now find plastispheres, entire ecosystems of microbes thriving on floating garbage. These microbes include pathogens that could decimate fish populations. The most unsettling truth? We're part of this cycle. A study in Belgium calculated that Europeans who eat shellfish ingest up to 11,000 microplastic particles a year. These particles have been found in human blood, lungs, and even placentas. The chemicals they carry, like bisphenol A and phthalates, are linked to cancers, infertility, and immune disorders. Therefore, the fish dying aren't just casualties of our waste, they're a mirror. Some people say, but fish have always eaten things they shouldn't. Why is this different? Because plastic doesn't go away. Unlike natural debris, it accumulates. A bird eating a contaminated fish. That plastic stays inside. A bigger predator consuming that bird. The plastic moves up the food chain. Eventually, it reaches us. Studies have confirmed that microplastics are now in human blood, in the food we eat, even in the air we breathe. But how bad is it? Scientists estimate that by 2050, there could be more plastic in the ocean than fish by weight. Some species might not survive that long. The Atlantic mackerel, crucial to marine ecosystems, is already struggling. The European sea bass is showing signs of plastic-induced organ damage. Even sharks, apex predators, are being found with plastic blocking their digestive tracts. Therefore, the question isn't whether ocean plastic is killing fish, it's about how much longer they can survive. Governments are banning plastic bags, companies are switching to biodegradable packaging, but is it enough? The reality is, 91% of plastic is never recycled. It doesn't just disappear, it lingers, moving through the ocean, breaking into smaller and smaller pieces until it becomes impossible to remove. This isn't a save the whales story, it's a save ourselves story, because the ocean doesn't just house life, it sustains it. Every second breath you take comes from oxygen produced by the sea. Every third person on Earth relies on seafood for protein. Plastic isn't just pollution, it's a slow-moving tsunami. And the fish we're losing, they're the first waves crashing.